Today we're replacing the lower control arm on this Pontiac Grand Prix because there is play in the ball joint, and you can feel the play when you go on 12 and 6 o'clock. We're going to start by removing the wheel. We're going to start things off by turning the wheel all the way to the right to make this facing out. There we go. Alright, now we have this sway bar link right here. It's a 13mm. Now I've had some bad luck in the past, the sway bar link, so we'll see how this goes. Huh, that was pretty painless. Okay, next we have these little harnesses here that hold the ABS wire to the control arm. We're going to take those off next. So I'm actually even going to go so far as to just unplug the ABS sensor. Then I'm going to move it to the side and let it hang. Alright, so now we are behind the spindle. This right here is the ball joint nut, and this is the cotter pin. I'm now going to try to remove this cotter pin and then loosen the nut. There we go. Okay, so now we have an 18mm socket, or 18mm nut. We're going to loosen up here. There we go. Okay, can't take the nut off all the way. Okay, so now we want to separate the ball joint from the knuckle. So I'm gonna pry and hit it with a hammer. Let's move this ABS connector out of the way so I don't accidentally hit it. Okay, I'm just gonna jack up the spindle. Oh yeah, there we go. So now I can finish taking this nut off. Okay, that should be good for now. I should be able to take it off when I get the two bolts off the control arm. In order to get access to one of the control arm nuts, we need to remove this little splash guard here. Also, pry up. A lot of the times this Phillips head part doesn't even really work so well, and I just end up prying them out. So I think that's what I'm going to do. There we go. We can take this out of the way. Okay, so there's one more thing holding this on, but I can just peel it aside and get to the nut anyway. 21mm. And it looks like the bottom is spinning. You need to hold it still with a big... Okay, I'm holding the bottom with a big pair of vice grips because I didn't have a Torx bit that big. See if we can knock this fastener through. Putting the nut on to protect the threads. There we go. You'll see the bottom has a big torque spit, but luckily it has some sort of a flat edge around the side, so I just grabbed onto that with a pair of vice grips. Next we have the fastener on the right side. It's a 21mm socket, and then I'm holding it from the other side with a wrench, 18mm. Okay, we should be able to take the control arm out now. This side doesn't want to come out. Let me use some silicone spray. There we go. Okay, so it's about a week later, and I've got the new control arm, and I transferred over the little brackets for the wiring. You'll have to excuse my voice, I'm a little under the weather right now. So we're going to put this back in, and then I'm also going to put the ball stud through the knuckle. There we go. So I pushed the ball stud through the knuckle. Now I'm just going to thread on the castellated nut at the top. Okay, so on the right hand side, I put the bolt through and just lightly put the nut on. On the left hand side though, we need to jack up the control arm so the control arm is parallel to the frame of the car, so then we can put the through bolt through it and tighten it up. Okay, so what I find myself having to do is stick like a screwdriver in there and sort of line this up, and then stick the bolt through. So that's what I'm doing now. Okay, now let's tighten both these bolts down. Okay, that's one. And now we have the other one. Okay, so now I'm going to let down the knuckle. Next you want to just tighten up this castellated nut and put a new cotter pin through. And like I said in my other suspension videos, you never want to loosen this nut because it forms a mechanical weld with the knuckle. When you're aligning the hole, it's better to tighten it to align the hole. Do not loosen it to align the hole. So we're going to put this through and we're going to bend it. Okay, I got the cotter pin in. It was a little difficult with the hole facing back and forth like that. Okay, next you want to reroute the wire in the knuckle and then reconnect the ABS sensor. Next we have the sway bar links. These are new. You have to put them in a certain way. Probably gonna have to jack up the suspension again. Okay, jacking up the suspension. That gives me more room. Next you want to reconnect this splash shield. I just use a zip tie over here because that little clip broke. Finally we put the wheel back on. And that's it. Thanks for watching.